All right, so now we're live. Welcome everybody to another episode of Don't Kill the Messenger on this water cooler series where we're sitting around the online proverbial water cooler daily in the month of April here. Today I have Carla and we'll be talking about health and fitness. Really, that world has been almost completely turned upside down if they're a brick and mortar. I know Carla here has one of those, as well as she's online so luckily she's been able to adjust with everything, and a lot of people are kind of wondering, we're stuck at home, what do we do? Are we just like sitting on the couch watching Netflix all day long, eating ice cream and cake, or are we doing something and moving around, and like, are we going for walks? What is happening? And how can we make that even better? How can we make sure we have a routine so we can keep going with our fitness goals? And Carla here is going to really talk about that for us, and seeing how we can get connected with her and what we can do, and even if it's just a couple of things at home. So, hey, Carla, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Victor. Thanks for the intro, bro.
Yeah,
awesome.
Of course. Yeah, no worries. I know we were connected because through a mastermind that you're a part of, and I know like you guys, it's a mastermind full of fitness entrepreneurs, really online, and I guess one of the biggest questions is, like, what was your initial thought when all of this initially went down?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, we had actually a video about this. My media guy was like, okay, we need to get this out there. So if you want to check out that video, it's on my Power Fitness Facebook page and on my Instagram and stuff. But anyways, we had questions about that. So what we did when the whole COVID, so I'll backtrack a bit. So Victor and I, we met at Vince's mastermind.
Yep.
And I started it in November because I wanted to go online and nobody had kind of helped me get online. So I'm like, hey, I got to get online. I got to figure this out. So I'm figuring it out. And then by January, we were starting to get it all figured out, getting the guys in place. And then February, we started Power Fitness Online. So I'd already done in-person classes for quite a few years. Well, I've been teaching classes for about 20 years, but
Right, yeah.
I've been doing kind of the in-person classes for my own business for probably about 4 years, something like that, 4 years. So I wanted to go online. So February, we were online, ready to go. And then boom, COVID hit beginning of March, and I was all set up and ready to go. And that is not the story of most people, unfortunately. So I was very thankful, actually. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe that I already had this set up.
Yeah, I feel like it was almost like a kind of a blessing in disguise, right? You were like, wow, I'm so happy that I was able to prepare ahead of time for something like this. And I feel like that's what a lot of people have been kind of, when things like this happen, it really shows you. I had a conversation about this yesterday on a like recorded podcast about how most people are ignoring something that they're feeling inside, like something's off, something's wrong, like our business isn't growing or something like this, and they need to adjust or pivot or do something to change it, but they're just ignoring it. And then when something like this happens, it really shines that light. It's like a flashlight directly on that issue. It's like, oh wow, we haven't made this change, and now we're not prepared for something like this. So I'm sure like for you were kind of like, wow, I'm so happy that we did prepare in advance for something like this. Not that we were preparing for this exact thing, but you definitely had something already going to help you transition online to make that easier.
Yeah, I was very thankful, and it was quite actually a smooth transition. I just said, okay, everybody, we can't do classes anymore. And that last class, I started crying, and I'm not an emotional person normally, but I'm like looking at all these ladies, and I'm like, and I hadn't decided yet that would be the last class, but once we were there, and after hearing like what was going on in the news, I'm like, this is going to be my last class. Like, I can just tell this is going to be it. So I started getting emotional, and of course nobody wanted to hug me because we were not supposed to touch each other. So that was kind of hard. But they're all like, oh, Carla. And of course, some of them were kind of emotional. So anyways, it was hard. We have a really tight knit community, and we're kind of like a bunch of sisters in there. Right. So it's like the Power Fitness family. So we support each other, and so we're there all the time. So just thinking in my head, like, I'm not going to be able to see these ladies again for who knows how long. And it's been a long time. Like, that was kind of beginning of March, and it's been a while. So, but the online is good. What I do is everybody's doing the workouts, and then they take sweaty selfies, and they're like, encouraging one another. And I've actually, Victor, had a lot of business people reach out to me, and they're like, how are you doing it, Carla? How are you doing it? So a lot of my friends and
Mhm.
business people, like in the mastermind, and other friends that have gyms, so what I did is I said, look, go in there, take a look. And then they were able to to do it themselves. So I'm feeling like, not only am I helping my community, not only am I helping the people outside of my community, because we're getting a lot of people from in Power Fitness Online from other places.
Yeah.
But now I'm also able to help my fellow entrepreneurs, right? Like giving them some ideas, because I did the research, I figured it out. And I actually did it very different than most people. What most people do when they run a fitness business is they record a whole bunch of videos, they put them in a little archive library, and then you can just kind of access them over and over. What I wanted to do was different. So what we're doing is we're actually doing live filmings 5 a week.
Oh
So
wow. Yeah.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So 5 filmings a week where we do workout videos. So every week you get 5 brand new workouts. And yes, they go into a library archive where you can access them over and over, but there's always fresh workouts all week, every week, fresh.
I like, so
So
it
that's
doesn't get stale. It's
the
not like
format.
something you buy once. Like I remember when I first started my fitness journey, it started with, I feel like a lot of people can talk to this. Is like it started with the insanity workout, right? I did bought that program, got like the 30 days, and then I was like, so now what? They're like, do it again, and I'm like, but I
That's not very
already
fun.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I get the appeal of having like fresh new workout every day. Like
Yeah.
that's fantastic, and I love that you're being able to do that, help your community and outside your community, even other entrepreneurs that are looking to you for guidance. That's fantastic.
They all thought I was crazy. They're like, "What are you doing?" Like my fellow entrepreneurs are like, "Why are you doing all that work?" I'm like, "Because I want it to be different, and I'm not going to be able to. I do not want to go in the grave without trying this. Like I'm going to try this." So I was able to get someone that was able to, like a really good videographer that could do it for me. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but everybody appreciates it because it's like a membership. Everything's fresh, and then we joke about things in the workout, and then the next workout we talk about what we joked about, and so everyone's kind of like getting the same vibe. So to me,
Yeah,
that's really important because it's all about the community for me.
absolutely, and that it's true. And like you're getting people accustomed to tuning in and watching you. It's essentially like a show, right? Like if we
Yeah.
were to like not to say that you're a show, but you would essentially, it's the same idea or principle behind watching a show on Netflix. People are tuning in. They want to know what's happening. You left that cliffhanger of like you were joking about something, and then the next episode you're talking about that same thing again. And it's just like that continuation. Like not that you're like last time on, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you at least people are like it stays relevant and it stays fresh. I love it because I'm sure you've gotten a lot of people, not just. So, have you gotten people outside of your world starting to find you because of this?
Yeah. Yeah, people are spreading the word. Like, so there's people, I mean, I'm in Alberta, people in BC, um, even people in Ontario reaching out to me, like kind of all over, because it's different and it's unique, and that's what I
Yeah,
wanted it to be. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. I wanted it to be different. So that's my goal. And really, like, how do you get it's all about the community. It's all about the support and the accountability. And I feel like there's a lot of programs online, and I'm not gonna, I don't want to diss anybody, but it's not like my coaches, we're all the same coaches. We're real people, right?
yeah,
We don't wear a
yeah.
whole bunch of makeup. Not that there's anything wrong with makeup, but we're just real raw people. We get in there, we joke around. There's actually one, and this video is up too, where I was drinking, and my sister is one of my coaches, and she said a joke, and I spewed my water all over. That's not edited out. Everybody gets to see that. So
That's
and then my
awesome.
husband and we were doing a workout together, and he's like doing this wall sit, and he was joking about, yeah, when you're sitting here, it's like sitting on the can, and he didn't mean to say it quite like that, but it just kind of came out. So then of course we're laughing, like that's not edited out either. Like nothing is edited out. So it's just really raw, and people just really seem to resonate with that. I think they just like that we're authentic. It's not staged.
I love it because it's true. I mean, like going live, like just like we're doing now, right? I don't have anything scripted for you. I literally said like we're
Mm-hmm.
going to be talking about a specific thing, but we'll see where that conversation goes, which is
I don't
again
even
why I
remember what
called
that
it.
specific thing was right now. But
Yeah,
I think, oh,
yeah,
I know, I kind of remember. Yeah, like how I kind of pivoted my business from online
right.
or to online. Yeah, yeah, got
But
it.
I know that generally that's like the main topic theme that starts. So we have kind of like a direction. And then from there, I
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it the water cooler series because it's a conversation. It's going to go wherever it goes. But
yeah.
exactly as you said there, I mean, people love to watch that. It shows the behind the scenes, it shows the real you. And with everything not isolated. They're at home, but I think it allows them to transform and into this world of like, I feel like I'm there with you because it is raw. It is real right now. There's no like editing or anything. It's not like perfect behind the scenes. It's literally, if you make a mistake, if you trip for some reason, everyone's going to see that just like they would if they were there. Right. So
yeah, and
I think that
I just pulled a bunch of hair out because I pulled my hair, and it kept coming. And I'm outside right now because my kids are inside doing school and they were, screaming. I have 6 kids, so it gets really loud. So that's why I'm outside here, sitting on my deck.
yeah. So so I guess, what would you say to people at home that are kind of like have been completely thrown off from their routine, as far as like, well, I used to go to the gym and now this, and I don't know what to do. I don't have like workout equipment, and like I don't really know what to do as far as home workouts or anything like that. Like, how can they kind of tune in either to you, or how can they? What would you say to get started there?
Yeah, there's so much you can do, but a lot of people, I had so many of my members reach out. They're like, I know that we have online workouts now, Carla, but I'm just struggling. So the first couple weeks, I was actually on the phone with a lot of people and texting and messaging back and forth, just trying to like, I guess, doing pep talks, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can do this. Like, we're going to get through. This is how it's going to be, because there's so much fear. And then you get in a slump, right? Because you're used to going out, you're used to having a routine and a schedule. All of a sudden, there's no schedule. So that's the first thing I would say. Get a schedule, get a routine. So with our workouts, they're always live streamed at 6 a.m. in the morning. And then after that, you can join anytime for the replays. And a lot of people, initially, they're like, oh, I don't want to get up at 6. I don't have to get up that early anymore. But now they're like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. They get in the routine, get up at 5:30, quarter to 6. And really, you can just roll out of bed with your jammies on. You don't have to get up because nobody's seeing you anyways. So it's like they get the workout done and then they're ready for their day, or they do the replay at a certain time, like just getting some structure. And actually what I did, Victor, and it was because I wanted to reach out to people. I wanted to, just like you're doing this right now, you're doing these Facebook lives, and this is helpful for people. More people are on their devices, more people are on Facebook. So it's really helpful. And that's what I did. I started a daily show. So on my Facebook, my Carla Rand Facebook page, every single morning from Monday to Friday at 7:15 a.m., I go live. And that's because I want to help people. And I want to so I'm just answering their questions, right? How do you get strong arms? How do you stay motivated? What do you do for pregnancy workouts? What do you, like all these kind of questions that I'm addressing,
That makes sense.
nutrition stuff. But it was also partly selfish, Victor, because I'm like, if I have to be up and like maybe have my hair combed and like, be properly dressed, not wearing my jammies by 7:15, I got to put these structures in place, because otherwise I'll be the same way. I was kind of in a slump at first too. And I was like, hey, Carla, you got to get out of that. So get a routine and then just use what you have. Like our Power Fitness online workouts, all you need is dumbbells, and you can even modify the dumbbells and a mat. Like, you don't need a ton of equipment. You can do body weight exercises, push-ups, squats, lunges. Like, there's tons of stuff that you can do. You can use the wall, do push-ups on the wall. Do wall squats and stuff. Like, everybody has a wall somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So really, you don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. You just need to be able to move your body. And the nutrition is tough too. A lot of people stuck with their nutrition. I'm a nutritionist as well. So a lot of people just like eating junk, just in a slump. And I'm like, no, you guys, like, here's what we're going to do. So we started actually a transformation challenge. I said, okay, guys, send me your before pictures. So there was a ton of them. They sent me their before pictures, measurements, weights. And I said, okay, when this quarantine is over, we're going to do this again. But now this quarantine is lasting so long. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to pick a date. I'm going to just have to say, okay, it's going to be done at this date, because I don't know how long it's going to last. But I also told them, because they were feeling sad, I said, look, the longer this quarantine lasts, the longer you're going to have to make this transformation, right? So that was kind of part of it too. But what I'm going to do now, like, that was kind of more for my members. What I'm going to do for the public now is I'm going to run a 21-day challenge. It's a fat loss challenge. And I've run it like over and over again. And so that's how I'm going to help those people, because we got like an incredible meal plan, incredible accountability. Like, it's just been an awesome program. Everybody loses like 5 to 15 pounds, in 21 days. So it's a rock star program. So that's what I'm going to do to help the other people that are feeling in a slump right now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's true, because people are looking for guidance. They were going to the gym. They may have just been, and I think like this is kind of like a common thing of what's been happening. That I feel like keep coming back to this whole virus, this whole pandemic thing didn't change much other than showing us what didn't work before, right? It's kind of forced us into this adaptive new world that we should have already been going to, but people were like, no, everything's working, so maintain the status quo. And then this is kind of just like, no, wake up, this is reality. We can't do that anymore. Like, from a business perspective, like, networking will never be the same. It's going to be different from now on. Fitness, I feel, is one of those categories as well that will never be the same. People are so focused on like, well, I have to, they have this idea of like, I just go to the gym and I do my thing and I leave. Whereas they realize like there's more to it than that. And they've realized because they've had to be at home, and it's like, you can do those same things you were doing at the gym at home, but you can see you're not going to get results by just doing that over and over. You need a little bit more guidance. You need that nutrition aspect. You need that another additional weight. Like, what is your specific goals? And someone like you can definitely help out with that, right? So that, yeah. I think everything is going to change from here on out, and that's really cool how you're helping people with this 21-day challenge to really get them to see like, I don't have to go to this, I don't know, I'm going to say like, not to name a big name gym or anything, but like this $9.99 a month gym that I probably won't ever really go to or anything like that, you know. But they can opt into this 21-day challenge that you're doing and actually get a result. And it's 21 days, and they're like, it's people from all over, potentially all over the world, and get those same results. So I love that you're able to do something like that, and we have the ability to do that, but it's just because it wasn't the status quo before. I think people didn't realize, they're like, well, I didn't want to do it. I think what's going to happen now is people are going to opt into things like that a lot more, because they're seeing like, wow, it's really easy to take those challenges and get those results without having to be locked down in a place where I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm rural and I don't have access to a gym around me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's just a way of serving, right? And I did a video on this too. We do videos like every week we put out new videos, just like, you know, kind of showing people what's going on besides just the workout videos. But that's kind of the thing I'm talking about too. Like you need to get involved in a community. You need to have that support. A lot of people don't have that. Right? They're kind of being sabotaged by their friends, by their family. They need to get into a system, a routine. And those are the people that really do. They're the most successful. And the other thing I tell people all the time is like, you can fail, you know, 10,000 times, like over and over. You can fail with your nutrition. You can fail with your fitness, and you're going to. So accept it. You're going to fail, and that's okay. That's the way it is. So people, like when they're struggling, they post in the group, they say Carla, or they say everybody, like they'll do a quote, like they'll say, I am struggling right now. Like I didn't do my workout and I'm in a slump. Like what should I do? And then everybody encourages them, and then boom, you know, the next thing you see their sweaty selfie, they're back on board, right? Like, and that's how it works. So for me, it's like, it's the accountability, and it's just knowing that you're not in it alone, and that you're not failing alone. So I share a lot how many times I failed, how I've struggled with binge eating, right? Like I binge, like you could, like, it's crazy how I can binge, right? And other people have other ways to cope with their problems, different like addictions or really bad habits. And we get sucked into that, and we need that support system. We can't be doing it on our own. So that's really like what Power Fitness is about. To me, it's about the community. It's about helping and supporting each other. And beyond just fitness, like, I talk about fitness and nutrition a lot because that's why people come to me. But I also talk about family. I talk about marriage. I talk about like various struggles. We have a farm, we have cows, right? So on my Instagram stories, I got pictures of baby calves all the time, you know, like, pulling a calf, or, trying to bottle feed a calf that, lost its mom. There was one where I was carrying a calf and then it peed all over me, little rascal. But anyway, so like, there's lots going on, right? There's lots going on. There's lots to share. And actually, I haven't told you this yet. I haven't really told anybody yet. But I'm actually starting a podcast too, because I want to talk more than just fitness and nutrition. So the fitness and nutrition is huge, and I'm always going to talk about that. But now I'm going to go and have some deeper conversations with people about things that matter. I actually had a conversation with someone last night on my podcast, and he was actually sharing his story, his struggle with pornography, other people struggling with depression, like having these kind of people on. Because when you get into the nutrition, I just had a really long talk actually with one of my nutrition clients this morning, and she was telling me like her struggles, because what happens is you get into fitness, you get into nutrition, and all of a sudden you start seeing the roadblocks, you start seeing the experiences, you start seeing like the patterns, and a lot of things come up. So it's very common for people to start crying to me about nutrition, because it starts there. Why are you overeating? Why are you struggling with this? What's going on? And all of a sudden it all comes out. So I really want to get at a deeper level, to the point where we're not just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it and saying, eat well, like, let's get to the root issue of it. So that's my next kind of, that's where I'm launching, but I'm always going to have the fitness and nutrition as well, because I feel like that helps people so much. When you can get your fitness and nutrition sorted out, you have less stress, you feel better about yourself, You can actually wear the clothes you want to wear. You're not sitting there like trying to suck in your gut, or like
Yeah.
stressed about summer having to wear those shorts, right? Like there's so much involved with it, and so much of it is mental. Like I work out because I want to look nice, I want to feel nice, but really it's mental health. Like if I don't work out, I get I have a very obsessive, compulsive mentality. And so if I don't work out and kind of get that out, it can come out in other ways, and I can get really miserable. I can get
Oh,
obsessed about other things.
I
And
know what
then
you
it's
mean.
like
Yeah.
I get in a slump. Hey, yeah, you get like
Yeah.
that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like that too. It's really so interesting enough. And I completely agree with this whole like you are gonna fail. It's funny. I'm wearing a shirt today. It says like failure isn't final. It's often the first hurdle to say. I have to like tippy toe.
You have to
Often the
jump,
first
jump.
hurdle to success. It's just a random shirt I picked out today in my drawer. But so
Good.
the interesting thing is throughout my fitness journey, I remember when I met my wife back in 2013. I was like really into it. I was into like biking and swimming, and that was like my big thing. And then I started getting into like powerlifting, and then like I met her. We started working out together, and I set this like idea. You can kind of say like inceptionize this idea in the back of her head of like 3 years from now, we're gonna be at the ideal like I don't want to say like I may have worded that wrong too. Like ideal like body that we want, as long as we do this because it's a journey. It's not like a quick thing that we're gonna get in like 10 days, 90 days or whatever. But we have to consistently do it. And our weight's not going to really change much, but you're going to see our body composition change. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of have this fallacy about. It's like you can lose weight, yes, and initially in those like 21 days, 30 days, 90 days, but to maintain it and to look better, to feel better, I think that's what you're getting at with feeling better. That's one of the things we love. And as we had children, like we have a 4-month-old now, those 2 months before our daughter was born and the 2 months, like the month or two after, we didn't go to the gym. And like it was something I know mentally I was obsessing about. I was having that same reaction, obsessing about other things. Like I would work extra, which I should it necessarily wasn't the best thing for me mentally, but like I felt like that energy went elsewhere. And like because it wasn't being released with other things. And I think a lot of people have that, especially right now. They don't have that release right now, and so they're looking for ways to do it. So they might be doing it in ways that could be harmful. And it's important to, like you said, have that supporting community, which is why people love having that type of environment with a leader like you, so that they can actually say, like, you know what, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, and it's okay. Because like after those 2 months after our daughter was born, I started going back to the gym. My wife was like, she has to recover and everything like that and get the doctors okay. So there's like a whole thing there. But then this whole thing happened. So we just started doing our own thing at home. But that's definitely important to note and pay attention to, right? Like it's okay to fall off of it. Like last night we had, it was her 30th birthday 2 days ago. And
Happy
like last night,
birthday.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, so last night we had like leftover cake and homemade ice cream that we made, and I was like, we don't feel bad about things like that because we know it's not like we don't do that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. So she's 30. I'm pushing 40. I'm 38 now. So I feel a little bit older. But you know what? I still feel young. It's like, and I was telling people too, like, sometimes people, they start getting older, like, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. And they're like, oh, I'm getting too old for this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, the older you get, the more you need to work out, because
Yeah,
now your body is like, it's starting to kind of break down. Right. So I told people, I'm like, as I get into my 40s, 50s, 60s, like, there's no slowing down here. Like, I'm going to be ramping it up. I'm going to keep ramping it up because we lose muscle tone each year as we age, right? You
yeah,
lose a certain amount. So if you're not countering that, you're going to end up weak. And ultimately, I want our workouts to be functional. I want us to be able to function well in life. And I want to
yeah.
live independently as long as possible. There's no way, I don't want anybody like bathing me, putting me on the toilet. Like, I want to live, I want to be strong as long as possible. And
That
so a
makes
lot of
sense.
the people that come to me, and I'm also trained in fitness for the older adult as well, resistance training, like a whole bunch. I even got aqua fitness. I got a whole bunch of stuff. But like for me, it's like we want to be functional and live independently as long as possible. And I feel like in order to do that, like you have to keep up with your fitness, you got to keep up with your health. But when you start looking into it, like if you want to like talk about you know, you can do a 21-day challenge, but like you said, the 21-day challenge is to give people a jump start.
Yep.
But my memberships are 6 months and 12 months. And the first time I did that, because I used to run 6-week sessions, the first time I did that, I was like, oh, nobody's going to sign up. That's crazy. How are people going to commit that long? But then
Yeah.
what I found is the quality of the people, like the ones that were really committed, they were signing up for 6 and 12 months. And they were like totally like on fire and ready to go all in. And that's the kind of people I want. In fact, there was some people that said like, oh, Carla, with the COVID-19, are you going to bring your prices down? Are you going to keep it cheap? And I said, no, I don't want to keep it cheap because I don't like, and I've seen other groups like this where it gets really cheap, you know, like maybe it's $20 a month or something, and you get thousands of people in there. And so I thought at once, I'm like, okay, thousands of people, that'd be kind of cool. But then I'm like, you get thousands of people in there. And then I heard some nightmare stories that somebody says, oh, you know, I hurt my knees. Then you get like 50 people commenting about what she should do with her knees. None of them have any clue what they're talking about. And the person who's actually doing the workouts doesn't comment because she can't keep up with it. So then it just gets like the snowball, and then you don't get the help that you need. So for my
Yeah.
group, I want them to be able to tag me. I go in there, I answer their questions. Sometimes I'll film a video and post it in there because it's something I can't just, you know, text about. I have to actually
Right.
show. So I'll go in there and do that. If they have a question about nutrition, boom, the next day, or like when we do our group nutrition coaching call, I address that question. Like they get their questions answered right away. And then you have more quality. I'm in contact with chiropractors, physiotherapists, not in like physical contact, obviously, not with COVID-19,
Right. Yeah.
but you know, I'm in contact with those different trainers, different nutritionists. I've had nutrition coaches too. Like there's people that I consult, and I often refer people, you know, when I can't help them, keeping them in my scope of practice. But we all need that support and we all need that help. And I want to keep it like where people are getting the support and the help they need. They're not hearing from somebody who has no clue, like, you know, the whole like, oh, my experience was this. Well, that's nice, but that doesn't mean that what worked for you is going to work for her. Right.
Right.
Like, and so there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
But in my group, I want to keep it a little bit smaller. I want to keep it a really tight knit community. So that's my goal. I don't think I'm ever going to get thousands and thousands of people, at least not unless I hire a lot more staff. And I do have
Right.
really good staff, but I would need to hire a lot more people because I don't want people like not having the help and support that they need.
That makes sense. And something you touched on there is what I was getting at earlier with we've maintained the status quo of that, like that lower price membership, right? That $9.99 like for an actual gym. Their model was based off of knowing that people aren't committed fully, right? Because
I
it's so
know.
cheap. Like to them, it's like I have a membership. I will one day do it, and you know, like that doesn't serve them. It doesn't actually help them. But with a higher price membership, it forces you to really pay it. Like, and this is something I say all the time. Like, if people who pay attention, right? So they're the ones who are going to be the most committed because they're like, well, I want to get my money's worth because they're paying that much more. And they're going to do the work, and they're going to show up, and they're going to like ask you when they need help and everything like that. And that I love that. That's kind of it's showing how that is broken before, and the people that are trying to mimic that online are running into the same issues, right? They're running into like, well, it's broken here too because it never really worked.
I
And
know.
like I said, this pandemic is really showing us what is working, what the new world will look like, and what the old world, like what we have to let go of, right? We have to let go of, like, you either are in or you're not. You can't be half in by joining a low end membership. You have to be actually in to do this if that's what
And
you want.
so many people come to me, they're like, well, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done it. Like, okay, you know, they've tried it all, right? That's why they come to me, because they've
Yeah.
tried it all and it doesn't work. And so, and that's, but I mean, there's still some people too where, you know, I want to work, they're like, well, I would sign up with you, but I'm going to go to this cheaper thing. And those ones often they end up coming again, you know, 6 months or a year later.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, I tried this and this didn't work either. And not that my prices are really high. Like I've had people
Yeah.
say, it's that cheap, Carla, it's that cheap. And I'm like, yeah, I know it is. And I'm going to be increasing that price because it is cheap for the value. And I keep adding value. So, I mean, I got to add value. I better up the price, right? Or else I'm like working for nothing here. And I got staff that I got to pay, and we're doing videos all the time, right? So it's like, there's a lot to it. But you know, Victor, like how many people have I given? And I like thinking back, how many people have I been given free stuff to? Like, we're doing a challenge. The winner gets a free month. So the winner gets a free month. The winner shows up to 2 classes and then doesn't come back because free, it means that they're not committed. Typically.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So anything that's free, unfortunately, there has been like the odd exception, Victor. Like you'll get the odd person that I gives them something free and they actually take advantage of it. And I can think of maybe 2 people that have actually done that in my whole time of working. But free just or cheap, like we just don't value it the same. And even for me, like I had business coaches, right? And I used to pay a certain amount for one business coach, and then I upgraded, got another business coach. Now I'm paying over $1,000 for a business coach each month, right? And it's like people are like, that's crazy. But I mean, it was crazy and I wasn't there before. But I have to just keep kind of increasing it because when you pay attention, right?
Yep.
So when that coach talks, I'm taking notes, how many free podcasts have I gotten? How many free courses have I signed up on business, right? And like I have good intentions, but I don't really take full advantage. And then once you're paying, it's like, I've actually had people tell me, they've said like, Carla, just like, let me pay you for something. I know if I pay you, then I will show up. And they've actually said it, like, let's just tell me where the membership is. Like, let me just, I know that once I pay. So it's kind of funny. Like a lot of people get that, but some people don't. And I mean, the reality is some people don't have the money. They just really don't have the money. And I want to help those people too. So what I do, Victor, and maybe you do this too, I don't know, but I actually do an exchange of labor. So they'll like, what can you offer? So there was one lady, she actually sewed me a quilt, sewed my daughter this beautiful quilt. And so in exchange for like a certain number of months of classes. So she was able to do that. Somebody else is doing like helping me in my Facebook group. Somebody else is helping my videographer. Like there's different people doing different things because not everybody does have the money. But I feel like I'm very much like if you want something bad enough, you will find a way, right? Because I've had other people reach out to me and I've said, well, what could you do? Like, how could you how could you help me? How could we do this exchange? And so they do a couple of suggestions and I say, okay, well, what about this? But then they don't follow up, right? But they could have been in my program. They could be getting results, but they just didn't follow up. They didn't want it bad enough, right? So I firmly believe if you want something bad enough, go after it and get it, right? Get it. Like make it happen. And you have to be resourceful. And I know right now with this whole COVID-19, it's extremely hard. People are struggling left, right, and center. I've had a lot of people say, Carla, can we put my membership on hold? Like they're struggling, right? And I get that. I totally get that. But at the same time, like you can't give up. You can't quit. You got to keep fighting, keep working. And I mean, that's what I do in my business. That's how I help people. Like I'm super busy. You're super busy, Victor. You've got kids. I got kids. I've got businesses. We got stuff going on. And like, you make it happen and you be resourceful and you work hard. And like, that's really what it comes down to. So if anybody wants to come into my program and they don't have the money, we could, 99%, I could figure something out for you, right?
Yeah.
Like I can figure it out. If I get, 1,000 people coming to me wanting to do exchange of labor, I might run out of chores to do, but I got lots of work that needs to be done, so, you can come help me pull calves. I don't know.
Oh man. So no, I love that. I mean, like if they do want to get connected with you, I'll put it down here in the banner, but it says powerfitnessedson.com to get connected with Carla. But it's true. I mean, you have, and this, I feel like this analogy works so good, especially for your industry, right? It's just like working out. You don't give up just because it gets hard. That's when you have to put in the extra reps. That's when you have to go a little bit more so that you can get better and you can get stronger and you can get faster, because through hardship really comes the transformation, right? And
oh man,
and like it's true. Like this is just another hardship, but it's not really a physical one. It's more of a mental one, and we have to overcome it somehow. We have to adjust and pivot just like you have, right? There's just like a lot of people have had to do, right? There's financial struggles. What else can we do? Again, what hasn't worked in the past hasn't worked for a reason. And this is just showing us that like when things like this happen, my mentor says this, he says, when things like this happen, it really shines a light on everything, right? On everything that hasn't been working and that you've been not paying attention to, because you're like, well, I don't want to fix it now. But now you have to fix it because it's relevant. And this could be something in fitness, in business, in family, in marriage, in anything. But it's that's what it's doing to us. And I think it's easy to either wallow in it. I read it somewhere the other day or last night. Someone said, they said it's okay to say hi to the sorrow at the door, but don't invite it in for dinner. Like don't stay there.
Yeah.
Like
Have a good
we're
cry.
human. You got to feel it, you got to process it,
Yeah.
and then you move on. Does it serve you
Yeah.
anymore? No. Keep moving forward. You know, like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a
I
lot of
love it.
baggage. Everybody has a lot of baggage that they got to deal with, and
Yeah.
there's things that are holding you back. But Victor, like you're awesome. Like I just want everybody to hear this. So Victor, I had a call with him one time a while back when he needed some help with stuff. I had one call with you, and it was just to kind of help me figure out like how do I reach my clients better, like what can I do with the tech stuff because I'm no good at tech. Okay, no good at tech. I have people that do that for me. Victor's really good at tech. But he had a call with me, and in that call, I don't even know how long it was. Maybe it was 30 minutes or so.
I think
But in
something
that
like that.
call, something like that, and he helped me so much. Like you just helped me like figure out exactly what I needed, what was going to work. You motivated me, you inspired me. I was like, wow, this guy is on the ball. And then we were going to have this call and I said, okay, that's great, but I don't even know like how to do this. How do I get on here? So then you're not charging me anything for any of the stuff.
Yeah.
You went on there and you like did this long recording about exactly step by step how to do this, how to get it done for my business, right? Like you just keep giving and you keep leveling up. And I just feel like, man, like you have a lot to offer, Victor, and you're like a fighter. I can tell, like you're probably pivoting. Like, how is it going for you?
For me on our side, we've been growing a lot. So a lot of people that previously have been on the fence to taking advantage of our services, like we do a lot with like Facebook ads and marketing, right? As well as like chatbots and whatnot. However, those people that have been kind of on the fence are like, well, I don't know if now is the right time. And then as soon as all this happened, about a week or two later, I had an influx of people calling me and saying like, now is the right time. I'm like, of course it is, but it was actually 3 weeks ago before this happened. Now you're actually
Mm-hmm.
behind because you didn't. And very similar to the situation you started with, right? You said you started in November with the changing online, and you
Yeah.
kind of started getting a role in January and February, and then this happened. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I'm happy that I did do it because I would be that much farther behind had I not started. Right. So I
Yeah.
mean, like, we've been helping as much as we can. We even started like a case study group for certain people. Like I was taking 8 people through this like get their next 3 clients in 30 days thing that I'm full for it just about. I have like 2 more spots left. But essentially that's what I was doing. But that was my way of being able to help people that were ready, but not ready to work with us one-on-one yet. And that way they were able to get that result and get moving forward. And that way they're able to at least see what it's like to, if this makes sense, this transition online for them, or if they have to find another way that works for them. Right. So
Yeah, I feel like I'm always going to want to do my in-person classes. Like I
yeah,
love my ladies and like I just absolutely love it. And by the way, we have stuff for guys too, Victor. So you and your wife, we could hook you guys up and you could be like, get the body of your dreams, but you probably already have the body of your dreams. But anyways, anyways, um yeah, like I just feel like, whatever I do in person, I wanted to do online. So what we actually started doing is we're doing the in-person classes. My videographer is walking around filming me doing the class. Like that's how we started it. Now we have to do it different because we don't have the classes running, obviously with COVID. But like that's how we started originally. So there's a lot of you like gym owners or whatever, like you're doing something in person. I just talked to a lady who owns a jewelry store, right? So now she's pivoting. She's trying to figure out how to sell jewelry online and all that kind of stuff. But like if you already have it set up, you can reach more people. And that's what I want to do. Like I want to make a big impact. I want to help the most people possible. So Edson's a small town. There's 10,000 people here, which means there's even fewer women, which even fewer women that would actually come to a class. And there was a lot of women that were like, I can't make it to a class. I have little kids. I have health issues. I can't drive, whatever. The times don't work because I'm at work, whatever. Well, I wanted to serve those people, right? So for me, it's all about serving more people, helping
mm-hmm.
more people. And I can't just do that just in person. I can do
Yep.
as much as I can in person, but I have to expand. And I mean, thank God. And I know God had his hand in this because like everything was way too perfect. The fact that
Yeah.
I was totally set up and then COVID hit, like, wow. And I mean, I give all credit to my creator, God, because without him, and I commit my business to him, I commit my life, my family, all of that to him. And he just leads me and guides me. And I'm just so thankful. I just feel like everything, even with this COVID thing, like I was prepared. I was so prepared. And it was all God that was preparing it because I had no clue that this was coming down the pipes. And I've been
Oh
trying
yeah.
to go online for quite a while, but everything just fell into place. And so, yeah, I'm very thankful. you know, yes, there's been struggles. Absolutely, there's been struggles, but like, I'm so thankful. And Victor, I'm glad that you're doing so well, man. Like people have to go to you if they need help. You're probably just maxed out though. You probably have no more room. It's like, guys, stay
Yeah,
away.
it's
I'm too busy.
it's been pretty. We were like, I went to my mentor. I was like, what do I do? Do I hire? He's like, you have to unfortunately either create a smaller version of your program, or you got to find you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, that's the hardest thing to find. And he's
What
like,
does that
that
mean?
was not
Find
the
you.
time to look for that person though. I was like,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, because I got to find someone who's literally able to do what I'm doing so that I can take on more people, but I can't. So, you know, it just doesn't make sense right now. And so I that's why I created that case study program for now, to be able to help a few people, more people that way, and get them those initial results. It's very similar to like your 21-day challenge, right? Get them that initial fast move, the
Yeah.
momentum,
Get them
and
moving,
then
get them
yeah,
going. Yeah.
get them moving and rolling, and then from there they can take off on their own, or they can probably see if what it looks like to get even more support. But that's you know, at least for now, like again, I can only serve so many people. I am in, like, we're a team of 3, so there's only
Yeah.
so much we can do right now. So
Got to keep hiring more people. I'm sure there's people, maybe there's people watching that are really good at this kind of stuff and want to learn. You could teach them. But I'm not surprised you're busy, Victor. Like, you've
yeah,
been really incredible, and it's no wonder. It's no wonder you're busy. You know,
yeah.
you over
Well, I
deliver.
appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. So great. Well, I know we're kind of wrapping up on time here, but it was great talking to you. I know this is important for a lot of people. I know, like, the whole mental thing is, and I love that you talked about that too. It really is a mental block for a lot of people. They're like, well, what do I got to do? You got to get out of that funk somehow, right? It's okay to stay there for a little bit, but then move up forward. And then, as far as getting connected, if you want access to Carla, like, head on over to I almost gave you my website, out of habit. Head on over to powerfitnessedson.com and get connected with her. See if her membership is right for you, so that you can get access to those daily lives Monday through Friday. And they're new ones. Again, like she mentioned, they are new. They're not like there's always a new twist on them, and allows you to keep moving forward. You build that community, get in touch with those people, and you have a support system now to move forward and to maintain your health and fitness during this pandemic, even while you're at home. You can even be in your
Thanks,
PJs
Victor.
working out. I don't recommend it, but
Yeah.
I definitely you can if you want to.
Oh, yeah. Anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, Victor. Thank you. So good chatting with you. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
of course. Well, thanks so much again, Carla, for coming on. And until next time, I'm Victor with VentureBot, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.